Welcome everyone to our first ever Facebook Live event for Get to Know Your Neighbor. I'm your host, Cameron Geesaman with Geesaman Homes. Each week on Tuesdays and Thursdays at 7:30, we're going to be doing a Facebook Live interview with local neighbors. Our goal is to bring our community closer, really by introducing amazing neighbors to Fishers, Indiana. Today on our live video is a dear friend who has taken on the steps of being the first one.
Hey.
And one of my all-time favorite people, Mr. Ryan Ahlwardt. He's actually a local resident of Fishers, graduated from HSE. Ryan's an American singer-songwriter, voice actor, and you might have heard him on the radio with Radio Theology on 99.5. He also is an alumnus of the world-renowned vocal group Straight No Chaser, and his new album, 72, is slated to release towards the end of May, hopefully. So please give a warm welcome to Ryan Ahlwardt.
Hey guys, how you doing? Hi Cameron.
Hey, how are you?
Thank you for, I'm doing well. Thank you for having me on as your very first guest.
Well, thank you
for taking No pressure, right?
No pressure. So, but before we start, I'm gonna try with each one of these videos on Tuesdays and Thursdays is kind of ask similar questions, but then also delve into kind of who you are and what you're about. So the first question I have, which dates back.
Question of the first guest of the first show. I love this.
First guest of the first show with the first question.
Okay.
Is what comes to mind when I mention the town of Fishers, which actually I should change to the city.
See, I was about to correct you, but I know that we're still learning.
I know we're a city.
I didn't want to burst
any bubble. It happened in 2012/2015.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like my mind is swirling with like Deer Creek, even though that's technically in Noblesville and not the name of it anymore.
It will always be Deer Creek. Do you
always be Deer Creek?
You own a Deer Creek t-shirt?
I do own a Deer Creek. It says like it's just the logo. It's like the old school logo. I loved it. My gosh, I think growth probably comes to my mind. I've lived here since 1992. So my dad was in the Navy and we moved all over, and I was, I think, 12 years old when I moved here. I'm now 38. I think I'm 38. Like you reach a point where you just forget how old you are. I think I'm 38. And I remember seeing HSE High School for the first time on a site visit with my sister. She was going to be a freshman and I was going into 6th grade. I remember when 116th and Oleo was just a 2-lane country road. Like I remember sitting in English class in high school, 10th grade English class with Mr. Wilkinson, looking north into what is now Saxony.
Oh, yes.
From HSE High School, looking through the window, and I would just zone out, and this like combine would just go back and forth, just plowing soybeans out there just all day long. And now there's like, 3,000 people that live in that neighborhood or whatever. But I think growth, yeah. And it's really exciting because for everything that's new in Fishers, I feel like there is still so much that that I remember just as it was, in 92. And kind of the crazy thing about me and our family, like I now live on the same street that I grew up on for, I think, 6 years in the first neighborhood that we lived on. I now own the grass that I used to cut as like a 13-year-old kid making lawn mowing money, which is kind of odd, but in many ways
on the far end, that was like considered the older side of Fishers.
Yeah, and there's what's beautiful about living this far west in Fishers is that everything's built. Like there's not any construction. It's exactly how I remember it, and so within a 5-minute drive from our home, we can be in a nature preserve, or we could be at somewhere like the Yard, with all the fun restaurants and new stuff that's going on. So I would have to say growth, because I mean, I moved here in my formative years too, and I've grown up as Fishers has as well. And yeah, it's part of me. There's a reason why I still live here,
Oh, for sure.
There's a reason why I came back and still have called this home for as long as I have. I mean, it's
you traveled, not to shift to career, but you really traveled with Straight No Chaser. You traveled all over.
Yeah.
And is it surprising that you then ended up here to a certain extent, because you visited so many places?
Yeah. So my wife and I met at IU. She's from Cleveland, so she's a Midwest girl as well. there hasn't been really like an allure to leave Fishers. And, I've got still friends who are in the music and entertainment business, who are touring, and, they're in either Nashville or out in LA or in Chicago or New York. And, they've come out and stayed with us before. And I'll never forget this. My friend Walt, who's in Straight No Chaser at the time, he was living in the heart of New York City. And he's like, he stayed at our house, and he's like, so wait, how much do you guys pay a month for your mortgage? And I told him, and he's like, I'm not even joking. I paid 4 times that money and get maybe a quarter of the space that you guys have. And I'm just like, man, I'm telling you, it's not just the cost of living. There's so many other great reasons of why, we live here. But for us, like, I grew up not really having deep roots in a Navy family. We uprooted and transplanted every, 2 to 3, 4 years.
Yeah.
And so I think what that has helped me learn is how to adapt as now a 38-year-old, and especially as an artistic and creative person and a self-employed person, you got to be adapting. But for us, like Lauren, my wife, and I, we just both wanted to give our kids and our family kind of the chance that I never really had as a kid to really put down those roots, So I love it here. I see some comments.
Yes, so I actually was going to cover this. But first off, for everybody that just joined in, thank you. I'm Cameron Geesaman with Geesaman Homes. That person right there.
Hello, friends.
Is Ryan Ahlwardt. And we're just kind of talking, we started off talking about Fishers. You can go back to any of our videos. We're going to be posting these, so you can check us out at Geesaman Homes on YouTube. And then I'm on Instagram as Cameron the Realtor or Cameron and Adam. So go back and watch that part. But we kind of talked about Ryan. And we're just now getting into the part of kind of what is his career, which we've hit on it a little bit. But someone just had a great question. And I know I said that at the end we were going to have the questions, but I really like this question from Mr. Chris Hebert, which was, will there be a Straight No Chaser reunion tour?
That's a great question.
I kind of need to know this.
Yeah. So what's funny to me and the 3 other guys who've been in Straight No Chaser and are now no longer in Straight No Chaser, we have a text thread. We're chatting every day. So there's some of those guys and we have, it's called the Order of the Old Shiny Suits. And it's like this, first of all, if you've ever seen The Office, like I'm, the what?
Really hot.
Yeah, really hot and really shiny stage suits. And I'm basically the real life Andy Bernard too, if you've seen The Office, if you love The Office. So I actually named the group. We keep in touch though. And it's awesome because right now, like I've been out of the group longer than I was in it. I was in the group 2008 through 12, and then I left to start a Young Life chapter here in 2013.
Oh, yeah.
I left Young Life staff. I think I'm the only person in the world to go from professional a cappella singer to like youth ministry leader. But I did that for another 5.5 years. But those guys are still, well, until this whole COVID-19 thing happened, they're still out there touring. I don't know. I've never gotten the call to like sub for a guy if he has to take like a month off or anything. It would be more fun, in my opinion, to do like a couple weeks run to fill in for a guy who has like some emergency. It would take a lot for me to go back to that lifestyle. It was a perfect chapter when it happened. Right. Lauren and I didn't have kids at the time. Now everybody in the group is married and has children. So it's a totally different dynamic than when I was in the group. But I still am in touch with those guys every week. And so we have our own reunion of sorts, just using, I think we've been on like 1,000 Zoom calls and FaceTimes this week, like everyone else has.
Well, yes, it's the new normal to a certain extent.
I go to their shows when they're in town though. And that's the reunion for me, is catching up backstage and hanging out.
So tell us a little bit about your, I want to call it career. There's multi-layers to that from what I know. And to give people a little bit of history, I'm going to step back a second. I actually met Ryan in, I'm going to call it like 96, because was it my junior year, 97?
That's safe. Yeah, I graduated in 99 from HSE. And you were 98.
I was 98. Yeah. And it was my junior year, so that would have been 97. Yeah. And you sat in front of me in etymology class.
Yeah. Yes.
And you're the smartest, funniest person. I didn't pay attention at all in class because all
so
I did was laugh hilariously at you.
Oh my God.
So your career, this is just gonna come back. Your career kind of like mimics that. It's like there's some serious, there's some funny.
Yeah.
So tell us about it, Ryan.
There's a whole mixed bag of the things that I get to do for a living and call it a job. It's funny because I've conditioned our daughter, who's 5. Anytime she sees me like with a guitar in my hand, or usually on the phone or with the laptop out, she's like, "Are you making music so we have everything we need?" I'm like, "Yes, that's exactly what I'm doing." So,
dude, I love Olivia.
She's great. I actually tried out for choir as a joke in going into 7th grade with some guys.
Fairly well for you.
Yeah, I'd say so. We thought we were pulling a joke on the choir teacher, but she needed all the guys that auditioned. So I think like probably I'd say 75% of those of us who tried out as a joke ended up staying in choir all throughout high school and loving it, which led to then me going down to Bloomington for school and auditioning for Straight No Chaser. And I actually made it with another fellow HSE alum of ours, Mike Luganbill, who I sat next to for years. So I got my degree in marketing. I sang around the world on some cruise ships right out of college because, let's face it, none of us had a plan. You know, we were just like, the opportunity came our way. We're like, this sounds amazing. Let's go do it. So sang around the world for about a year and a half. And then kind of got, into the quote unquote real world, used my business degree, did a lot of marketing and sales work. But music was always a passion. And it turned from a hobby into a side hustle, then into the full-time hustle was probably when I think Straight No Chaser got signed due to a viral video on YouTube called The 12 Days of Christmas. Maybe you have seen it. I wasn't even in that video.
We watch it every year. The kids literally every single year. And this is what's funny is that's like old school because it's when you're in your shiny suits and you can tell that you guys are sweating like there's no tomorrow.
Yeah.
And we watch it and the kids love it because the kids know you clearly. So they think that you're just like the coolest cat.
Well, that's usual. Your boys are awesome.
We have, your kids are amazing. I'd love Monday nights, guys, if you want to see anything that's just gonna make you laugh and I don't even have the right words for it. It's amazing. So Ryan does a Facebook Live, kind of like this, not like this at all, actually, but it's with his family and their 2 kids. And so Gus is their youngest and he always runs off.
Yeah.
And Olivia, it's the Olivia show. It's amazing.
She's painfully extroverted like her 2 parents. And Gus is so funny because he'll hit the wall like halfway through. He's 3 and he's just like, I want the iPad. And he'll just go find it. He'll find his little Peppa Pig show and he's just chilling on the couch. And we're at the end, we're like, Gus, do you want to come on back in here? And he's like, no, thank you. At least he was polite. But yeah, it's fun to, Lauren and I met singing at IU. She was a theater major. I was a marketing major. And then we kind of handed each other our degrees and I spent a ton of time in the business world. She was out, I was on stage. She went into the corporate world. And really music became like the profession for me when Straight No Chaser got signed. It took about a year and a half for us to for the rocket to really leave the launch pad and for us to be touring full-time, recording full-time. Like I said, I did that for 5 years. And then I got this, and it was amazing. Like more than any of us ever could have dreamed of. It's like that once in a lifetime shot that you have to take. And then I really felt called. I think that's probably the best word to use, to leave the group and join staff with Young Life, which was a ministry that Lauren and I were super familiar with. We had volunteered with it when we were engaged and dating and all that. And we just loved the ministry and they needed a staff person. And so I was like, wait, this ministry that we already know is growing, again, that growth word, growing in my hometown at my old high school. And I get to come home and be with my wife and not 9 of my closest friends, but it's like now I actually get to have the home life that I've always wanted. And so it was a no-brainer. And that chapter of ministry just exploded like wildfire. I mean, it was, at one point, it was the fastest growing chapter in the country within the Young Life.
It was huge. Yeah.
And it still is.
It's kind of where we reconnected, because we'd been, Adam and I and the kids, not the kids, Adam and I, had been to the Straight No Chaser concerts. And so it was nice. Like I would see you, but it'd be like 2 seconds.
Right.
And you'd call me that horrible name. And then we flash forward to you at Young Life. And it's one of those where we, you know, sort of reconnected. And I remember the moment, because I feel like I walked up to you and you kind of gave me this look like, I really know you.
Yeah.
And then you said that name again. If you're just now joining, everyone, that's Ryan Ahlwardt.
Mm-hmm.
He is a singer-songwriter and a dear friend of ours. And we wanted to, so Geesaman Homes kind of put this together. We're going to be doing this on Tuesdays and Thursday nights. We're going to bring different guests each week. Next Thursday is actually a dear friend of mine, Sarah Kruer. But you can catch us on, it's always going to be a Facebook Live at 7:30. If you've joined and you have a question for Ryan, dang it, down.
Those are the comments.
If you have a question for Ryan.
You're over there. If you turn to your left, see? There you go. We got it. I think I got it.
You got it. Okay. Then we're going to do a little Q&A at the end.
It's fun too, because I get to do a lot of I've realized as this whole career path has unfolded, where it's like, you know, you got a business degree and then you go sing on cruise ships, and then this amazing opportunity to get signed to a record deal with your old a cappella group falls in your lap, and then a youth ministry opportunity opens up at your old high school. And like, it's these pockets of time where seemingly it makes no sense. Like there's no common thread, right? But then what's cool is then I got out of that. I got out of ministry and kind of hopped a lily pad over, still in ministry with my friend Darren Earlywine, who's a local pastor. And he has a ministry called Blackbird Mission. And for a while, I was doing some fundraising with that. I was on the radio with them. And so that really gave me an opportunity to dive into this whole self-employment thing, where it's like, I use my voice every single day for different reasons. Just to give you a glimpse into what this whole creative, like entrepreneurial, self-employed thing now looks like. Today, I got a request from a corporate client to write a 20-second jingle for their company and record it. I was sending voiceover reels to studios and talent agents who specialize in voiceover work, which is, I've been dipping my toe into that for about 3 years now. I am going to be working later on my album that I'm coming out with. There's like always something going on, and I'm like, oh, it all revolves around my voice, my artistry, my creativity, and it's like, and it just works, and it's like, and I get to call Fishers, Indiana home still and do it all here.
Is that a song that you'd like to share?
Yeah. So conveniently, I've got a guitar right by me.
Wow, that's so interesting that you.
Yeah, just it's already in tune, and yeah. So this is a pretty autobiographical song, and it's called Indiana, about the state that we love home, or we call home. Check it out. I am a man from Indiana. You could even call me Hoosier boy. But at times I hear the city and her lights call my name, and I leave behind these silos high. See, I was born in sunshine, and we moved on out to Stuttgart before making Pascagoula our home. Then we rode our family caravan up North New England town, but it was here that we finally settled down. Here in Indiana, I've sunshine sweets, and meadows in the autumn lined with gold. Don't sell me California or send postcards from LA, 'cause I've got a perfect angel here at home. I am a pilgrim on this road that we call time, but at least I'm not lonely with my woman by my side. She's beautiful like an evening down just south of Martinsville, when the sun is sinking low behind the hill. Here in Indiana, I've sunshine sweets, meadows in the autumn lined with gold. Don't sell me California or send postcards from LA, 'cause I've got a perfect angel here at home. La da 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 da. La da 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 da. Ooh, ooh, ooh. La da 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 da. This music is my heartbeat, and these notes run in my blood. These words I sing to you, I sing in love. No, I don't want to fight it. I don't want to stop it. Just want to let love out and breathe you in. Here in Indiana, I've sunshine sweets and meadows in the autumn lined with gold. Don't tell me California, send postcards from LA, 'cause I've got a perfect angel here at home. Old school with the lighter, that's fun. Hey, thanks. That was Indiana. You know what's funny is like the song it's about the state, but it's really about my wife Lauren. Like I've realized as I've been playing that, I'm like, this is such an autobiographical song, but like the end of the hook, the end of the chorus is, I wrote that song when our friend Mike was out in Los Angeles, and he was telling me how great California is, right? He's like, oh, it's amazing. And I was like, don't sell me California or send postcards from LA, because I've got a perfect angel here from home or here at home. And I was like, this song's really about Lauren, but it's like through the lens of Indiana and what the state means to me. So
I love that, because you're not me. I was here.
Yeah, I was actually born in San Diego. I was born in California, and so
Fresno.
Fresno. Okay, I've played in Fresno several times with Straight No Chaser, actually.
Little bitty town where my parents paid like $50,000 for a house, and now it's worth $1 million.
Right? Yeah, seriously. I love the comments. I'm so glad. Hi, Katie Plummer. Hi, Sonia. That was so fun. Thanks for listening to this song.
Yeah. We were trying. It's all learning.
It's nice when it pops up. I'm like, wow, this is really cool.
I know. I appreciate you sharing that with us, because I'm used to hearing you all the time, and I guess that's kind of the reason why we did this show. Is essentially Fishers is in Adam and I's DNA. We went to high school here. We still live here. Our kids are here, and so we realized that our neighbors mean a lot. And a lot of times I'll hear, support local, which that's all great. But sometimes, like you and I mentioned, sometimes you don't know who that is. Like I mentioned your name to a friend, or I posted on Instagram and Facebook before this event of, hey, I'm going to be doing this interview. And one person said, well, I don't know who Ryan Ahlwardt is. And I was like, that's the point. Like the point is I want to use educate, but really just introduce people to the awesomeness of what is Fishers. And it might transpire to some other cities, but I love Fishers. I've always loved Fishers. I came back here and I wouldn't trade it for the world, So if you're just joining,
nice reset. It's called a reset of biz, Cami. Way to go. Oh, sorry.
No.
Called you Cami.
See, that's that name.
My bad.
Look, Adam wrote a little thing.
Reset. Way to go, producer Adam. I love it. I love it.
I'm Cameron Geesaman with Geesaman Homes, and here with my husband. Of course, he's kind of off on the side, but I'm usually the talkative one. And we put together this show. Like I said, we're going to be doing it on Tuesdays and Thursdays at 7:30. It's a Facebook Live, and we're just going to interview different, I'm calling them neighbors, right? Neighbors, friends. I'm kind of starting out with friends because it's who I know. But if you know someone, which kind of leads me to kind of the next question, Ryan, is, you've been here for a long time. Do you know any neighbors or friends that you feel like maybe people should know, or that we should interview so that we can spread the love and everything with our community?
Yeah, so I've got three really quick. So just I don't know them, but I patronize their business as often as I can. Any like Sam's owned restaurant.
Oh, he's on my list.
I love Sam's. I love the Roost. I love their loyalty program. I love everything about them.
I think my brother-in-law, who actually is a knife maker, actually has connections with Psalms. So if Mr. Psalms, do we know his name?
I want to say it's Ed.
Ed.
Don't quote me on that though.
No, I think you're right. Ed is watching.
Is it Eddie Sam? There it is. Dude, I love Psalms.
Yeah, Eddie Psalms.
Here's the deal. Psalms Company Incorporated.org. If you need a jingle or some just local like advocacy program, please let me head it up because I love, just give me every once in a while a skillet from the Roost. Just every once in a while, just throw me a skillet and then we'll call it a deal. Actually, this is funny since we're on a real estate show that's also like just talking about the community. The realtor who sold my parents their first home, still in the same cul-de-sac that I live on, different house, but she took us to Psalms as we were, this was so great. I have never even, wow, this memory just came out. In 1992 when we were buying our house, memories, she took us to Psalms. She was like, you got to eat here if you're moving to Fisher. So like, that's been a long run for Psalms.
I'm missing the boat. I should take all of my clients to Psalms.
Do it. So eat local. Then so two friends I'm going to give a plug to. Our neighbor and friend Lisa Graft. She has an amazing movement of moms on Facebook. It's called I Am Mother of the Year. It's all about this small acts of generosity and compassion and just being in the weeds of motherhood. So
Facebook page.
Yeah, and like thousands of moms from all over the country and world are part of it. So that's Lisa Graft and I Am Mother of the Year. And then my friend Darren Earlywine. So he calls himself a spiritual entrepreneur, which is really a cool term. Darren's a speaker, a podcaster. We've been able to do the radio show together for years on Radio Theology. And he's just an awesome dude who practices what he preaches. And when he preaches, it just feels like he's with you there. It's not talking down to you, it's talking with you. And so I love both of what they stand for and what they're putting out there individually. And Darren's like almost Fortville, like far east Fishers. And Lisa.
Fishers.
Yes, technically. And Lisa lives like 2 retention ponds like that way from us.
Oh, she's in your neighborhood.
Yeah, she's
and
just
the third part. So it's
what?
Lisa, you, and Darren that do Z99.
Yes. Yeah, on Radio Theology. So Lisa legitimately dropped off an apple pie on my porch today. If that is not Fishers, Indiana, I don't know what is. Like a quarantined apple pie gift. Just like, here you go, neighbor. Yeah.
That is great.
Yeah, if you're watching this and you're wondering, I've heard some good things about Fishers, Indiana, you might have a neighbor who literally drops an apple pie off on your porch during quarantine.
Here's the thing, though. I hear your wife is quite the baker recently.
Oh, my gosh. Yeah, she's been cooking up a storm. She's fantastic. She comes from a family of New York Italians, like 100% Italian. And she's just constantly cooking. Like, you know it's going to be a good day when the house smells like garlic at like 9 in the morning. Like Lauren is just always cooking. Like she's cooking dinner like 12 hours before. She just does it. And she's awesome at it. And there's always something cooking. And what's cool is she's been involving our kiddos in it too.
So we've talked about you were in Straight No Chaser. We've talked about the fact that you have the Facebook Lives on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. Skip this Wednesday. But can you talk about, you also do voiceovers, right?
Yeah.
Can you talk about that a little bit? Like what that looks like?
Yeah, it's so fun. One of my friends who I actually used to sing with in Straight No Chaser and have known since high school, not Mike, another one. He hit me up like almost 3 years ago. And he said, hey man, you're one of the funniest dudes I know. You can do all these crazy voices. And my company is trying to do a new national commercial that we're paying the same animation team that made those talking M&M commercials. If you've seen those, they've done that campaign for like 20 years. They hired that company to create a little animated mascot for their company for this first round of commercials. And so my friend Mickey said, listen, man, I'm in charge of listening to all the audition tapes. Here's the script. is this something that you'd be interested in doing? And I was like, let's give it a shot. And I ended up beating out like 80 other professional voice actors, having never done a voiceover gig before. And that really helped make a splash, where there have been tons of opportunities and projects and gigs that have come from that. So it was an amazing, like, this is what's crazy. This is the common thread in a lot of my story. There are opportunities. My mom helped me understand this, actually. She said, you had been making crazy voices and making the whole family laugh and impersonating thing. Like, I did an Elvis impersonation when I was like Olivia's age, like, I don't know, like 6-ish.
Share that with us?
She's like, you've been using your voice to bring joy to people since you were like a young kid. And I'm like, I guess that makes sense. Now, only recently, probably within the past 3 years, have I kind of figuratively poured some gasoline on the fire and said, okay, let's use that IU Kelly degree in marketing. Let's use my music talents. Let's use my, I'm highly, highly relational, and like, I just love interacting with people and connecting people. And so it's just become this really fun recipe that suits me, like, very uniquely. If someone was like, teach me everything you do so I can do it too, I'm like, I don't know if you could. I'll share what I've learned, but I don't know if you could just kind of copy and paste my story and have it work for you. I don't know, but I love to learn too. So I'm constantly like using this quarantine time, and thank the Lord for technology, because I can connect with other voice actors or voice talent agency reps, you know, from my basement under quarantine, and advance my career. And it's like, it's so fun to be able to do what I get to do. But the bulk of what I get to do is a lot of corporate work. I do some commercials as well. I've worked with biomed tech companies, pharma companies. I've worked for Royal Caribbean. I've worked for all kinds of like radio jingles and stuff. So it's fun. It's so fun. It's great because I literally get to sit in the same seat that I'm in now. I've got a microphone here that I just pull over and speak into and send off the files. And
that's great.
Yeah, it's a big blessing. It really is.
So people can support you if they have a business or something and maybe want some voiceover work.
Absolutely. If they
bring in the puppet with that, like the puppet that.
Mr. Puppet is sitting right over there. Do you want me to get the puppet? I'll be happy to get the puppet if you want. Okay. I love it. Cameron, do a reset, and I'm going to get the puppet for you.
Okay, we're going to do a reset, everybody. I'm Cameron Geesaman with Geesaman Homes. We started this. This is our first one, clearly, guys. I don't know how long it's going to last, but I just wanted to bring something to the masses that is just something enjoyable, and you can learn about our. Sorry, I can't focus. So this is Puppeteer, and I wanted to introduce him as a local resident.
I can't believe that Mr. Puppet is about to get on this right now. I love this. Mr. Puppet is not, we didn't even buy this puppet. This was a Young Life Family's puppet that I took home one day. I don't even remember why I took him home. I just thought he was cool, and I was like, I just want to hang out with this puppet. And this is my most fun thing to do, by the way, when I'm talking, have Mr. Puppet like look at me and acknowledge me. But anyway, I never gave the puppet back. I kind of kidnapped this puppet.
She wanted him.
What?
Lauren wanted him.
I guess Lauren wanted him because she saw him in some pictures, and she's like, bring that puppet home. This puppet has some soulful eyes. I mean, that like, anyway. So this puppet, Mr. Puppet, that Olivia named very creatively Mr. Puppet, gets our children to eat their food almost nightly. This is an off night where she's not sleeping with Mr. Puppet in her bed.
Oh.
He can convince our children to do something so much like just efficiently than Lauren and I can.
He has his own Facebook page, or
he's got his own Instagram. Yeah.
I haven't seen much from Mr. Puppet recently.
Yeah, I know. It's like sometimes I'll start things and then like life happens and I'm like, oh yeah, I've got an Instagram page dedicated to a puppet. It's like probably should pour some more content into that. Yes. Oh, I love that Lauren is correcting the story. Yeah. Lauren says you took him home because I asked you to. Yes, she did. Yeah.
I have to admit, here's the thing.
Yeah.
I love Lauren just as much as I love you.
I hope people love Lauren more than they love me. But I think it's a mark of a true couple, like a fun couple, that if you can get to know the spouse even better than you know the person, that how you connected to the spouse. Like that's a great couple, because it's not just like you're liking one person in the couple, you're liking both
Yeah.
people. So
Oh no, we love you both.
yeah, she's so fun.
Thank you, children. It's great.
Oh, look at us. Look at her, just
Oh,
commenting.
I love even, so you have Mixtape, which we haven't, you really haven't talked about. Are you still doing Mixtape?
I totally forgot that we yes, that's another thing I do. So Lauren and I were
all of your jobs.
yeah, I know. Here's what I'm learning too. I love, like someone asked me a long time ago, they're like, what's your ideal, I met with like a career counselor, and she's like, what's your ideal work scenario? Like, what's your ideal work environment? And I was like, anything with a stage or a microphone. I was like, I could live in a recording studio all day. Like when we would record our albums, I'd be the guy who would go outside like once in a 12-hour shift. Like I just lose track of time in there, and it's so fun. But yeah, so Mixtape is a 90s, mostly 90s. We do a lot of stuff too from the 70s up to today. It's a party band, and it's so fun. And Lauren and I are in it. There's another Straight No Chaser IU alum named Brian Kelly, a dear friend of mine. We've known him for 20 years now. He's so good. What?
Is he one of the singers?
Yeah. So there's 3 singers: Lauren, me, and Brian, and bass, drums, keys, and guitar. So there's 7 of us in the band. We do a ton of corporate stuff. We haven't played a lot of the bar scene.
Right? Like for Christmas parties and like events, they can hire you.
Weddings, corporate events. Yeah. Summer is usually pretty packed for us. But it's so fun. Like for us, we're learning it's not a date, but it is a night out for Lauren and me, where we just go and get to perform together. Hi, Becky. Becky's another fellow HSE alum, and she just signed up for my my Patreon community recently, and she hired Mixtape for her husband's 40th birthday party out in Ohio last summer, which was I think it was last summer.
Someone didn't for you to do my 40th.
Wait, you've turned 40 already? I couldn't have told. Yeah, see, there it is.
Nice try.
Yeah,
you're right.
I didn't even do Mr. Puppet's voice, but the more that I do it, the more I realize how weird it is. So I'm not going to do Mr. Puppet's voice. Let's change the subject.
So I guess one of the last questions from a business or a career standpoint is, I guess, what is your favorite? And you might have already answered this, but what would you say is your favorite part and/or of what you do or what you like to do?
That's a big question. If I had to nail it down to one thing, I think it's living out who I was made to be. Performing, entertaining, writing music, and there's so many different like little silos of what I do. But at the end of the day, it's like you're an artist. I'm an artist. I do a lot of different things. I play guitar. I sing. I arrange music. I write music. This was really cool. I got to write a song for IU. I was asked to write a song for Indiana University's the 200-year bicentennial, and that was like such a huge honor. And I'm like, what? Like I was a marketing guy who barely went to class, and now I'm writing a song. Like not even using that degree. But yeah, it was for Straight No Chaser to sing, but I wrote it, and so it's like a huge honor for that. And so I think what?
You didn't even sing it? You just wrote it and then they sang it?
I wrote it and arranged it with Mike Luganbill for the group to sing. And then I think they actually used some of my voice that was on my demo of the song on the actual recording. So I think technically I'm on the recording.
Oh, gotcha.
But
I thought you were on.
I guess technically I am, but let's say I am. Yes, I sing all the parts. No, I don't. I think it's really kind of just living out where my calling, where my vocation gets to also be my career. That's the beautiful aspect of it. Like, and of course, anytime I'm performing, anytime I'm then living out who I feel like I was made to be, it's the best. And the fact that also puts food in our fridge, like that's awesome. Like it's a huge blessing. My business is actually, because I've been able to adapt and kind of bring in these new aspects of technology and just form new relationships within the voiceover world. There have been a lot of really cool opportunities that have come my way while everybody's holed up under quarantine. That, I mean, literally, like, my prayer life has shifted to, like, Lord, thank you for technology. Like, thank you for Wi-Fi. The fact that, because, like, if Wi-Fi went away, I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing, because I am definitely not a handyman. I can do light bulbs. I can take out the trash. Don't ask me to construct anything, though. Write a song, I'm there. And just also the joy that that really brings to other people, like that my joy performing gets to help people experience even more joy and encouragement. And let's face it, in these times when people need encouragement and need hope, I'm like Captain Optimist. Today was kind of an off day for me where I was just down, but those are few and far between. And so that I can be silly and do puppets and play guitar and sing and do voiceovers, it's like, it's just a huge blessing to be able to do what I get to do and do it here from Fishers.
Well, I want to say first off, thank you for doing this. Look, people are in our chairs.
Yeah, it's the
I want to. We're getting close to the end, but I wanted to give the viewers a chance. It says that there's still 13 viewers.
Hey!
So 13 viewers, I'll take it. Is there any question that you have for Ryan or for me? Put it in the bottom. Adam's on the side going.
Point down.
Put it below.
Yes.
Any question about Ryan? I'm going to talk for a little bit. Oh, that was nice, Allison. Thank you for that comment. I appreciate it. I'm glad you
Hi, Allison.
popped on.
I remember,
were you friends with Allison?
I knew, it was like I more knew of Allison than I actually knew or was known by Allison, but always
okay.
I remember she had like I think she was on the softball team and had a mean fastball, like an underhand fastball. Like,
she went to IU?
Was she? Is she on the Wall of Fame at HSE? I have a feeling like Allison's on the Wall of Fame.
Yes.
Are you on the Wall of Fame?
I used to be, and then I got taken off because somebody beat me.
More space, or they beat the record that you had.
I was like, oh, she's gone.
Oh, that's so funny.
And so if you know someone, like Ryan suggested a few people, but if you know someone that is from this area or has a business, kind of like Psalms, anybody really, I'm just trying to bring awareness to our community, the Fishers, Indiana area, and really just show what we're about. So Allison just had a question, or Allison just made a comment.
And I'm so intrigued about the fight song part.
He picked the fight song. Okay. Allison, will you come on and interview?
Love that. Can I go on a little bit of a soapbox for literally 1 minute about the fight song?
Yes.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
So I know that there was the original Fishers High School. Then
ALS, ROI, ALS. Sorry, I had to just
you're fine.
Let people know.
I love that. So then there's HSE, and then I think you and I went off on to college, Allison as well, and they broke ground on Fishers High School, this new Fishers High School. Okay. So here's the deal. They gave the red to Fishers High School, okay? And HSE is now more like blue, gray, and white. It's like heavy blue over there for the Royals. But I remember we had like away jerseys for the football team that were red.
Red, yes.
But here's the deal. They kept the red in the HSE fight song. You know that we are for the red, white, and blue. I'm like,
no, you didn't.
No, you didn't. Change it to gray. Just, you know, that we are for the red or the blue. What is it? Red, white, and blue. No, it'd be the gray, white, and blue.
I will say that my neighbor is Chris Hebert. Sorry to call you out, Mr. Hebert. And he is very, he's within the Fishers baseball family.
Yeah.
And I swear he wears red every day.
That's legit. See, I respect that kind of commitment. Like, we will probably have a drama little garage thing on our house one day if we stay where we are. By the way, Lauren and I were just talking about things that we want to change with our house that we need to talk to you about, by the way.
Okay, we can talk.
Yeah.
You are here's the thing. We could have a whole segment on what should we do to our house, because I could talk for hours on that.
Do it. I think you should.
Oh, thanks. I'll talk to you about it off the side.
That's fine.
You're at Fishers High School.
Huh?
Are you Fishers High School where you live?
We are zoned for Fishers. We are zoned.
Our kids school together.
Yeah, we're zoned for Riverside, and I'm all about it because I'm like, I go behind Riverside every chance I get. That school is awesome. And occasionally you'll see a falcon like scream across the sky. It's so fun.
Yeah. Oh.
America. I love Adam just like a foot away from you, but off screen, just like commenting. I love that.
You hear him laughing every time you say something. He's like trying to cover his mouth so he doesn't laugh really loud, but he's laughing.
Great. He's doing great.
You know what? This is what it's about. Well, do we have any other questions? Somebody has a
It's basically
falcon.
Allison commenting about the falcons.
Your wife.
She's so great. Wow.
Well, so we don't have any other questions. Yeah. I want to, for the most part, plug, that's the right word, plug, to kind of let everybody know where they can find you. So can you kind of go through all the different spots or locations that if you're wanting to hear Ryan's music or learn about Ryan or support Ryan. And I want to preface this by, I know a lot of people, I've been talking with a lot of people recently, and you probably can relate to this, Ryan, that, you know, when you hear support someone, people always want to assume that that means money. And I want to be very clear that that's not the goal of this or the goal of what I mean by support. There's a lot of different avenues that you can support somebody. You can share this post, you can share Ryan's post, you can write a review, you can click like, you can click emojis. Like there are different ways that, especially with algorithms, there's ways to share and help someone grow their business or their career without spending a dime. If you want to support with money, then that's fine too, but know that you don't have to.
Right, exactly. I would say, you know, you said earlier in the conversation that there was someone who was like, I don't know who that Ryan guy is. That's actually encouraging to me because I go, oh, there's still an audience that I get to introduce myself to in my music and everything that I get to do. And so Ahlwardt is a little tricky of a word to say and spell. So I have a website, ryansongs.com. All my music and music videos are up there. ryansongs.com/VO is my voiceover website where you can, if you're interested in that for your business or whatever you're doing that might need some voiceover work, just go to ryansongs.com and then add VO to the end of it. But yeah, you can stream my music anywhere, Spotify, Apple Music, all that stuff. ryansongs.com on social as well.
Your new album that is coming out, because I do want to plug this, because I personally, I don't care if anybody else is interested. I'm really interested in it because can you kind of give a description of what it is and kind of what the premise is?
Sure thing. Yeah. So it's called 72. It's an album of songs that have inspired me that were written in the 1970s. So even though I was born in, you were born in 80. I was born in
79.
You were 79. Okay. So you're in the decade of this album's music. I was born in 81. And so I really cut my teeth on the music that my parents listened to when they were in college and late high school. And I just love the music of James Taylor, the Eagles, Little River Band, like Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young, you know, those kind of singer-songwriters from that era are my, if you can see right up there is my favorite James Taylor album right there. Yes. And so last year I did an album of 80s covers. I called it 81. It's my birth year. This is 72 because it's the second cover album. Next year, if I do like a 90s record and go back to high school era, like you and me, it would be 93. So this one's called 72. There's going to be, I think, 13 or 14 cover songs, sort of reinterpreted, doing Carolina in My Mind by James Taylor, Take It Easy by the Eagles, Rocket Man by Elton John, like really fun classic songs from that era that are reimagined, and my band sounds so good on it. So I'm stoked. It was supposed to come out around Memorial Day, but this wasn't a COVID-19 delay. It was more of us determining we want more music on this. My producer and I were like, let's add 2 more songs. So the delay has nothing to do with coronavirus. It's more that we just wanted to get more creative, and that requires a little bit more time in the studio. So I would say late May, early June.
Okay. I said May-ish.
May-ish. Yeah, yeah.
May-ish. Well,
Yeah.
I'm really excited.
Thank
I
you.
grew up on music. My dad was a DJ. He actually went to IU as well and was a DJ. So living in a house where my dad loved music.
Yeah. That's so fun.
So any eras. Will you do a 64?
Yeah, you never know. Like I actually love the music of the 1940s. That was my grandparents' era. And like I remember being our kids' age listening to like Glenn Miller and like early Elvis and like all the World War II kind of music. And I'm like, like I've got my grandparents to thank for a lot of my, like your dad being a DJ. It's like that older generation of music has meant so much to me. And so it's so fun too, because the songs are already hits. You've just got to reinterpret them. You know, it's like, that people are going to enjoy it. It's just how do I put my own spin on it?
And I like your takes on it. So for everybody still watching, when he does Total Ryan Live,
there you go.
kind of like sing Get to Know Your Neighbor in a sound that sounds like an old guy that sings it.
That's right.
Because I can't do that, but I really want to. So it's Total Ryan Live.
Yeah.
Do you each week you do it? Do you play one of the songs from that album? Because that's where I heard it.
Yeah, I either play it on guitar, real time live on Facebook Live, or I will play just over my computer real time with Facebook Live open. I'll just play a preview of each song as it's in the works. And so, yeah, people have really been enjoying it and requesting more songs. And so can't wait for it to come out. So the best thing to do, go check out my music at ryansongs.com. And then if you're on Spotify or Apple Music, you can just click follow. And then anytime I release new music, you'll just get it on your phone.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I really appreciate it. Thank you for being can I say that you're the guinea pig?
Yeah, that's fine. Absolutely.
I think it went well. I'm really excited about it. I have one last question for you that we're playing around with this. I can't guarantee this is always going to be my last question, but because Adam and I are in the home industry, one of the questions I ask a lot of my clients, especially when I'm, talking with them or getting to know them or trying to determine, especially for buyers, I ask them, a series of questions. And one of the questions I always ask is, what is your favorite part of your home and why?
Two places. The place I'm in right now. So this is not just my studio and office, but we actually put a ton of time last year and money into, we had already had a finished basement, but we just wanted to start fresh. We bought it with the finished basement, but there were just a lot of things that we wanted to change. And so we eventually did. So I love, and especially under quarantine, I'm so grateful for our basement, because it's just like our kids are the age now where they can be alone just long enough that it's like, why don't you go downstairs? Why don't you make all the noise that you want downstairs? Just don't touch any of Dad's stuff. So I love our basement. And I also love, we had a screened-in porch that was great during the summertime, but we just never used during the wintertime. And we turned it into a Four Seasons room where we have all three of our meals every single day together. And it's so great. And so that adding on like actual legitimate square footage of our home, turning just like a slab that was our not even our deck, but just our back slab into something usable was huge for our home. Yeah. Hey.
From a real estate agent's perspective, adding square footage or finishing footage is one of the best things you can do. Good job.
Yeah.
You didn't even call me to give my advice for that. You were just smart.
You and I do need to talk. We need to talk offline about some other projects that Lauren and I were tossing around.
Do that. Well, I want to say thank you. I really appreciate it. I love all the comments. For everybody that is still on or watches this at a later time, Ryan we're going to be sending this to Ryan, so he will be answering questions, on there. We'll answer questions if you have questions for us, but where you can see Cameron and Adam, we've got a couple places that you can check us out. Clearly, GeesamanHomes.com, that's our website. We're on Facebook. You've probably found us from here, which is the Geesaman Homes. And then I am also on Instagram, which is Cameron the Realtor. I try not to post all homes. That's more kind of my family stuff and real estate stuff. But then I also have kind of the business, more corporate type feel, which is Cameron and Adam. And then our YouTube channel, which this type of stuff will get posted to the Geesaman Homes YouTube channel. So again, want to say thank you. Catch us on Thursday. Hopefully Sarah Kruer will watch this and still wants to do an interview.
I saw her stuff. Like, you shared the promo graphic. I looked at her Instagram. Her stuff is amazing. She's a graphic designer and artist. And again, I had no idea who she was, and I was like, instantly follow. So
when you sell a house with us,
yeah,
we use her to make some of our gifts.
Oh, that's fun. That's smart. I love that little vibe. That's so cool.
Yeah, she's really great. She's another good friend of ours, and it'll be nice to see another, business owner to a certain extent, and see kind of, how she runs stuff. So, but yeah, so check us out on there. But Ryan, Allison said she enjoyed it. I'm so glad. I'm so glad that you came on. I don't even have words as to how thankful I am for you for the last 2 weeks of helping me through this and just, lifting me up. This is something that I've always wanted to do, but I've always been nervous to do and just felt like I didn't have the confidence to do it.
Well,
so
you're fantastic at it. You were so welcome. I loved it. It was so fun.
Awesome. Thank you, Ryan, so much. Thank you, everybody. Catch us on Thursday, and you guys have a great night.